Imagine this: you have a raging toothache. You can't sleep, you can't eat, the pain shoots straight into your temple. Now imagine the closest thing to a dentist is a blacksmith with red-hot tongs, or a healer who tells you there's a worm living inside your tooth. No anesthesia, no antibiotics, no way to say no. That's how humanity dealt with tooth pain for almost its entire history. And what people did to each other to get rid of that pain sounds like a horror movie. Let's break down how humans fought toothaches before real dentistry existed. More than 5,000 years ago, the Sumerians already believed toothaches were caused by a tiny worm burrowing inside the tooth. This idea was so persistent it survived for nearly 4,000 years, showing up in texts from ancient Egypt, India, China, and even in Europe as late as the 18th century. The treatment? People tried to smoke out the worm, rinsed their mouths with herbal brews, or simply waited for the pain to go away on its own. Spoiler, it didn't. Skulls found in ancient Egypt show clear signs of dental abscesses, pus-filled infections that could kill a person if the infection reached the bloodstream. Egyptian physicians could make crude fillings out of resin and honey, but they had no real understanding of the actual cause of the pain: decay and infection. The Middle Ages. Forget doctors in white coats, your teeth were pulled by a barber. Yes, the same person who trimmed your beard, applied leeches, and performed bloodletting was also the main dentist of the era. There was no anesthesia at all. At best, strong alcohol or an herbal brew laced with opium if you were lucky. Most of the time, the patient was simply held down by several strong men while the barber ripped the tooth straight out of the jaw with pliers. Even stranger, traveling tooth pullers performed at public markets. They pulled teeth right in front of crowds, with drummers pounding away to drown out the patient's screams. It was an actual show people paid to watch. And what if your tooth didn't hurt but just looked ugly? Wealthy people bought donor teeth, pulled from the poor or from dead soldiers after battles. Yes, literal teeth from soldiers killed at Waterloo were later fitted into the mouths of European aristocrats. While barbers ran the show in cities, villages treated toothaches with whatever was on hand. In some cultures, people believed pressing a dead mouse against your cheek would cure the pain. In others, animal droppings were used as a compress. Across Russia and Europe, chants and prayers against tooth pain were common. People believed the healer's words worked just as well as medicine. Clove oil was also widely used, and this one wasn't nonsense. Cloves actually contain a natural anesthetic called eugenol, which is still used in dentistry today. So not all folk remedies were useless. People just didn't understand why they worked. The turning point came in the 18th century thanks to a Frenchman named Pierre Fauchard, now called the father of modern dentistry. He was the first to systematically study teeth, introduce the concept of oral hygiene, and design dentures that actually stayed in place. But the true revolution happened in 1846, when ether anesthesia was first publicly used during a tooth extraction. This event is remembered as the day pain disappeared. For the first time in history, a patient didn't have to endure surgery while fully conscious. By the end of the 19th century, dental drills, antiseptics, and the first filling materials had appeared. What used to be a death sentence from infection became a routine 20-minute procedure. Today, we complain if a filling takes 5 extra minutes without anesthesia. Yet just 200 years ago, a toothache could actually kill you, simply because blood poisoning couldn't be treated. Next time you sit in a dentist's chair and get a painless shot of anesthesia in seconds, remember that centuries ago, 3 men would have held you down while a barber ripped your tooth out with pliers to the beat of a drum. Progress doesn't always feel impressive. Until you find out where we came from, subscribe, please, BRO.